Well, hello everybody. Do I have a topic for you tonight? Um, I was going to try to pass on this, but I felt so bad. I felt the matter of fact, I felt the shame when it came when my coworker said what she said. So what happened today at work? Right, we have. um, I spoke to several coworkers today at work about attending this upcoming event at the church. Um, I was just asking certain people, and I had two people say they thinking about they might come, but then I had one coworker immediately rebuke me about coming, and I was like, what is going on with this? She's like, I don't go to church anymore because church members are nasty and mean. I was like, uh-oh, where is this going? She began to specifically uh, about the pastor family, saying how mean and nasty that they can be, how controlling they can be. And I said to myself again, oh boy. But while she's talking about this, I'm thinking to myself, it's like, I have experienced that. And not only have I experienced that, I've seen it. So this is a topic where I have seen and experienced this before. Just as this coworker opened her mouth and rebuked me about attending an event. And her purpose was because church folks, particularly the pastor or the bishop family, is very nasty and mean. His children are very nasty and mean. And I was like, oh my God. So I started thinking about the whole thing. And then you know what? Many years ago, while attending church down south, I have to agree with her because this pastor, his family, they was mean and nasty, especially the wife. And the children took after her, mean and nasty. And not only that, those who was a close around her in her little nuclear, her little clique, they were just as nasty and mean too because she gave influence to them, you know. And I would never forget what I've seen and what I have heard. The pastor family, listen, the pastor family and children, they have control issues. They want to be in charge of everything. Everything in the church, they want to be in charge of everything. They want everything to go through them. Even if someone else is in charge of putting a program together, no matter what it is, it was the pastor children who want to take over. The pastor children will run to him to complain, and then he would allow them to take over the auxiliary or the program without investigating the matter. He would just do what his daughter or son say and assume that they was right about the individual who was in charge of the program. If the daughter or the son didn't like how it was going to go, they would go to the pastor, they would go to their daddy and complain about that one who's in charge. And everything that they complain about is all negative. And you know what? Shame on you, bishop. Shame on you, pastor, when your daughter and your son come to you about trying to expose somebody's weakness or say that they are not good at what they're getting ready to do. You don't investigate none. You just side with your children. That's what you do. You don't investigate nothing. And I've seen this. Not only have I seen it down south, but I've seen it in the north too. I've been through a lot of church and I have seen this. But my coworker today, when she spoke this, it brought back all these memories. I was like, wow, she's right. She's absolutely right because I've seen this stuff. And you know that your children you know that he's wrong, she's wrong. Because you've been dealing with this all your life. But now it has gotten to a place where members in the church don't want to do anything else because they know that your daughter or your son will take it over. Talking about gifted people in your body, in your church congregation, who's able to put on a program or run an auxiliary, but because of your children, your daughter, or your son, will come to you and say, because they want to take it over, they want to be the one to do it, they want to be out front, they want to get the praise, they want to be recognized. So they'll come to you with every negative aspect of this person or that person and tell you about it, Pastor. And you know what you do? You sit there and you listen. Matter of fact, you not only do you listen, but you agree with it. Because now your daughter or your son has taken over the auxiliary or the program. They are now in charge. And that's sad. Because you never stop. You never stop them. You never stop them, they nasty and they selfish behavior. You know that they are wrong. You know they're wrong. Every time they come to you, you know they are wrong. But you don't investigate none. You don't do anything. And this co-worker of mine, she had guts to tell me what she said today. And you know what? She's right on. She was right on. She's right. Because the pastor family, the children are nasty and mean. Not all pastors. Let me digress. Not all of them. But I have seen it. And I agree with my co-worker. Yeah. They want to run everything. They want to be in charge of everything, as if no one else in the church can do anything right or good. My coworker opened my eyes up, and I was ashamed. I was embarrassed. Yeah. And when your daughter wants to take over everything, or your son, or your family members want to take over everything, and they come to you with a negative report about the one who's trying to run or operate the auxiliary or put the program together, when they come to you and say, hey, they don't do this right, they don't know how to do it, this is what they're doing, and I don't like it, and you agree with them, say, okay, well, you take it over. Shame on you, pastor. You know what? And people begin to leave the church because they are sick and tired on how the pastor children treat them and talk about them. Yeah. My co-worker, boy, I tell you, you know what? As a matter of fact, tomorrow when I see her, I'm going to go up to her and I'm going to shake her hand and I'm going to say, you know what? You're right. And I'm so sorry that happened to you. And I'm going to tell her, but you know what? I agree with you. And I'm telling you, when you said that to me, I couldn't even defend myself. I didn't have no defense for you because you was right. It does happen, and it's still happening today. Hey, pastor children, listen to this. Since your pastor, since your daddy won't do anything, since he won't sit you down, he sees and knows how nasty you are. He knows how you have run and ran members away, but he won't say anything. He agreed with you that Sister Betty, I just throw that name out there. He agreed with you that Sister Betty can't do anything like you do, so you are deceived. So you move Sister Betty out of the way so your daughter can take over. She just like the spies when they went out to spy. They came back with a negative report. And that's what they do. They come back to you, their daddy, their pastor, and say, oh, Sister Betty can't do it like I do it, Daddy. Sister Betty don't know how to do it. Sister Betty is doing this, and I don't agree with it, Daddy. Daddy, I should be running that auxiliary. Dad, I should be sound like my baby Marlo. Dad, I should be in charge of that, Dad. And you are so wrong. You're selfish. You know what you are? You're a spoiled brat. Yeah. And you run people out of the church. I've been to a lot of churches and seen this in most of those churches. And guess what? It's still happening today. The mom won't say anything. The father, the pastor won't say anything. The brothers won't say anything. And they all know that he and she is wrong, but they ignore it. They turn their head. Yes, they do. This is a good topic tonight. And it slapped me in the face by my coworker today. I said, girl, you right. I didn't tell her that then, but tomorrow when I get to work, she's on my hunt list. I'm gonna hunt her down and say, you know what? I'm sorry, but I agree with you. I agree with your remarks. You're absolutely right. Listen, 1 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 5. Listen to this, Pastor. For if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church of God? You can't. If you can't run your own house, you can't. This is why this type of stuff happened in your church. This is why your daughter and your son takes over in your church. This is why your daughter and your son run people away from your church. Because you don't rule your own household well. You can't. Your family will ruin your family rules the church instead of you. Not only do they rule the church, but they rule the household. Hey, church folk, look around in your church today and see those who has left. The next time you go to church, just look around. Look around and see all those people who left. Those people who was faithful members, those people who was tithe payers, those people who gave their time and their talent and their offering. Those people who cook, who set things in order, who sacrifice their time for your pastor and his family, which include you, your daughter and your son. Look at all the people who's gone, who used to sacrifice their time for you. And you won't say anything. You just let your daughter and your son run them out of the church. Look around, church folks, the next time you go to church. Listen, they didn't leave because God told them to leave. They left because of the pastor, the son, and the daughter. I'm talking about good, solid members that you had in your church. Faithful members, workers in the church are now gone. Why? Because of your daughter, your nasty, mean behavior daughter and son. Your selfish children, because they want to be in charge of everything. They want to take over everything. You know what? Hey, church folks, listen to this. When you run into this again, I challenge you and I charge you to get up and leave that church. You know why? Because it's a family business. Just get up. Look, turn your... I'm thinking about something. I had a job one time, and I had to drive, I think, like an hour and a half to get the job. Down in Billerica, Mass, construction job. And this is when I was struggling. And I had to drive an hour and a half each day to get there. Now, and wasn't making much money, but I had to work. I ain't have nothing. And finally, it hit me. It's like, man, I'm going to work every day. But at the end of the week, I'm paying to keep gas in the truck that I had to get down to go to work. And so I got to the point, it's like, this ain't worth it. I'm done with this. I need to just go and work at McDonald's nearby. And make that little change. But you get what I'm saying. They left. Good people left. Good people who supported your daddy, who supported your pastor, they left because of your nasty behavior and your nasty disposition. Because your selfishness. You want to run everything. You want to take over everything in the church. You keep it going, because you know what? It's just going to end up being you, your pastor, and his son, and his daughter, and his spouse. Because that's what you want. Everybody going to leave. And I challenge you, church folk, if you sitting under a church like this, and this type of stuff is going on, get up and leave. Get up and walk out. And I tell you a good church you can go to. Come on down to Marlboro, Maine. To the church called Crossroad to Calvary. Where the pastor name is Pastor Warren Heat. You're not going to find that there at that church. But I challenge you, if you come to that church, you better strap in. You better strap yourself in, because he's going to preach the unadulterated word of God, to include sin. Because sin is not preached today in churches. Yeah, they got this prosperity stuff. That's what you look. They got a sugar daddy in the pulpit preaching to sugar babies, and you know what? Them sugar babies, their teeth is rotten because it's just sugar. They eat sugar day in and day out. Yeah, you allowed your daughter and your son to run members away because you don't want to confront them. You don't want your spouse to put you in your place. So you agree with whatever your daughter come and say, or your son say, "Hey, we can't let him do this. We can't let him pray. We can't let him hold the door, or we can't let them." Oh, whatever they come to, and you sit there and you agree with it. Okay, you do it. How about this here? Listen to this. Let me set the stage for you. Sister Betty goes to the pastor with an idea. The pastor agrees with Sister Betty, and then you allow Sister Betty to put it together. And then here comes your daughter, who wants to be in charge of everything, interfere, and when Sister Betty don't agree with your daughter, they go to you with a bunch of negative information, and now you allow her to take over what Sister Betty started. And now Sister Betty is saying to herself and her family and her husband, "I'm not going to do anything else in that church because it's not worth the hassle. His children can do it. I'll just sit back and watch it crumble." That's what the good people, that's what the supportive people that you have in your church who want to do things, who wants to elevate the body, but you allow your children to come in and give you a negative report because they are not in charge. They want to be in charge. They want to take over with that controlling spirit. And you agree with it. And so you set Sister Betty down. You allow them to take over. And I have seen this with my own eyes. I have seen and heard spouses crying out, women's crying out to their husband about a situation in the church where the pastor's daughter or son created a negative environment or took over the situation, and now the spouse is crying. She's crying because she don't understand it. How can the church folk, the pastor's children, be so mean and nasty? They know it's not right, but this and then the spouse, her husband trying to calm her down and say it's going to be all right. Guess what? It's never going to be all right. And you know what happened? Sooner or later, that good core group or couple or family that you had in that church, just because your daughter and son want to rule everything, guess what happened? They leave your church. You keep allowing it to happen, Pastor. You know what's going to happen? You're going to have to go get a job. You're going to have to go get a job because your daughter is going to run everybody out of the church. She's going to run everybody out. Yeah. Hey, church folks, listen to this here. To you who know the pastor, daughter, and son is wrong, yet you support their behavior and go along to get along, God is going to hold you accountable as well. And you know who you are. Listen, it's easy to spot a clique in the church between the pastor children and other lay members. Just look on Facebook. You'll see it. It's easy to spot that clique. They have a closed circle, but it's not a closed circle in God's eyes. All of you are going to be exposed. Hey, man, you better get a backbone and stand up to this hypocrisy. You better get a backbone and stand up to what's right. Yeah. No, but you don't want to do nothing because you say, "Well, I don't like friction. I don't want no contention. I don't want to, I don't want to." Yeah, you better get a backbone and stand up because God, you know it's not right. You know what she's doing. You know what the son is doing. You know it's not right, but you go along to get along, and you don't say anything about it because you don't want no friction. Mm-hmm. God gonna hold you accountable to it. Mm-hmm. You won't say anything because you are afraid and don't want to offend anyone. Shame on you. You give the listen, this is what you do when you don't say nothing. You give the pastor children strength to do and continue to do what they do. Let me go back to this scripture here. 1 Timothy. Uh-huh. For if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church of God? He's not. His family, his daughter, his children, they run in that situation. They run it. Listen, they try to run every department in the church. They want to run the school. They want to run the Sunday school. They want to run the youth. They want to run, you name it. Whatever you have in your church, your daughter, your son, they want to run that auxiliary or that program. And you got great people in the church. Good wisdom, good knowledge, good understanding. They want to help. But you allow your family to come in and shut that down. You allow your children to run people away. Because you don't want to confront them. You don't want your spouse to put you in your place. Yeah. You won't say anything because you're afraid. And you just allow them to continue to do what they do. You're going to be held accountable for it. And you know who you are. Just go to just go to Facebook and you can see the little clicks. You can see the clicks on Facebook. Just look at it. It's so it's so funny because it's hypocrisy. You're wrong. You are wrong. Pastor, you are wrong when your children come to you to give you a report, any report, and you don't investigate that. You don't check out the matter. You just take their word and run with it. You are wrong for that. And God is going to hold you accountable for it. Why don't you stand up to your daughter? Why don't you stand up to your wife? Why don't you stand up to your children and say, no, you are wrong. I put Sister Betty in charge of this, and I'm going to allow her to do it. If she falls flat on her face, then so be it. But I'm going to let Sister Betty do because she's a faithful member. She gives in her time, her talent, and her offering. She don't create friction in the church. She's nice. She's obedient. That's what you need to tell your children. No, back off Sister Betty. Let her do it. But you don't do that. You take your daughter's side and say, "Oh, she don't know how to do it. She don't do it this way. It should be done. She should do it this way." And you sit there, a man of God. Now I'm thinking about. I think it was Solomon. I think it was Solomon when the women had their child and the baby they rolled over and the baby died. And they went to Solomon and he had to judge. He had much wisdom. Read that story what Solomon did. But you won't do that. You turn the cheek. You ignore Sister Betty. You ignore her cry, her pain. You ignore the pain and the cry of others who've been there, who want to help out, who have given all their all to you in the ministry. Until your daughter wants to take over that auxiliary or that department, or your son wants to lead it and rule. You throw all that out the door. Keep on doing it. You know what you're going to be doing? You're going to be eating chicken feet. No more steaks. You're going to have to get a job because the people is tired of it. They are leaving. Look around Wednesday night. Look around Sunday. And look at the people who's not there anymore. Look at those members who was faithful, who was strong for you, who did everything in their heart. You didn't have to ask them to do anything. They was willing to do it. They was willing to sacrifice. But then you allow your children to come in and shut that down. You will reap that behavior somewhere down the road. I'm talking about you who's tied up with the church, with the pastor children. You know, that little clique. You know they wrong, but you don't say nothing. And I'm going to tell you, you and your children are going to reap that behavior somewhere down the road. This is a bream call. I'm crying from the mountaintop to warn you because my co-worker is 100% right. I seen this myself. I had it happen to me myself. When my co-worker came to me and told me this, I was so sad. And actually, I couldn't even defend. I couldn't even defend it because I seen this myself. Listen, who has left your church? Look around. You will see and notice all those who have left because of your daughter and your son and perhaps your wife. Yes, pastor wife, they can be messy too. They like to throw a rock and hide their hand behind their children. Shame on you, pastor, bishop, for not having a backbone to shut this mess down. Well, pastor, since you won't sit them down, let me prophesy right now. Since you won't sit them down, since you won't speak to them, God is going to sit them down. Don't you worry. Enough is enough. Church is not supposed to be a family business, but you have allowed it to be this way to your children. Don't you worry. God is going to fix it where you will need others to help you, and he's going to fix it without your help or approval. That's right. Take notice, pastor. Your children need to be put in their place. They are not the only one in church who has talent or who is right. See, when you plant a tree, let's speak about oak trees. When you plant an oak tree in your yard, and if you don't like where it is, you better root it up and put it in another spot. You better root it up and you better root it up before those roots begin to get deep. You better move it before that happens and put it in the place where you want to. Because otherwise, if you allow those roots to get deep, you know what? You got to cut it down now. And that's what has happened. That's what you have allowed your children to do. You fail to root that mess up when they come to you. All you do, you cut it down. It's too late for that now. You know what you got to do now? You got to put the axe to it. You got to put that hammer to it. You got to root it up. Matter of fact, you might even need to put them out of the church, your family, because they running people away from the church. And you know that. Look around, pastor. The next time you preach your little sermon, look out over the congregation, and you can start counting people, counting families, couples who has left your church because of your daughter and your son, because they are mean and nasty and got a selfish attitude, like no one else can do anything right but them. Yeah, God gonna fix that. Yeah, God gonna fix this, buddy. It happens too much. It happens too often, and you know it. You know it, pastor. Matter of fact, when they come to you, when your daughter come crying to you, you're already prepared to let her take it over. There's no argument. There's no fight. There's no conversation. You just let her do it. You just let him do it. I've seen it. And it's still happening today. But you keep it going. Because you will not be the Bible said that the Lord owns 1,000 cattle on the hill. You keep going. You're not going to be eating those steaks. You're going to be eating chicken feet. Because you're wrong. You're wrong for not rebuking your children. You're wrong for not putting them in their place. And I'm going to read it one last time because this is what your problem is. 1 Timothy, I'm going to read it one more time. 1 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 5. For if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church of God? You can't. It's too late. You know what you are now? You're the pastor, but guess what? You're just a member. That's all you are. You're just a member of your own church. Well, anyway, that's enough of that. But I was just, you know what? I wasn't mad, but I was ticked off when my coworker said that because I say, boy, she's right. She's absolutely right. And she wouldn't tell me what church it was because I really wanted to know. And I wouldn't be surprised that I do know what church it is. But I was kind of ticked off, but I couldn't fight with her because she's right. Yep. Well, anyway, I love you. I just want to get that out there because that came today. I was like, man, golly. But I love you. Pray for me. Pray for my family, little Marlo, my wife. This is a tough topic. It's a good topic. And you need to take heed, pastors. You need to monitor your children behavior and activity. You want to monitor everybody else. You got a word for everybody else. You want to tell everybody else how to do it and what to do it and when to do it. How about starting with your own family? How about starting with your wife? How about starting with your own kids? But you won't. And it's too late for you. Because you're just a member now. Your title is pastor, but you're just a member. Because you have lost control. You have lost control. This is why we need to be about our Father's business. Because if we were about our Father's business, we wouldn't have this mess in the church. So I challenge you tonight, pastors. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying is true. You know that. You can't deny it. You can't run from it, and you can't hide it. And I pray when I sign off and you lay down tonight, I pray that God bring it right in front of your face. I pray He wakes you up with it. And I say this in close. Every member that left your church, your congregation, because of your daughter or your son, you need to reach out to them and you need to apologize to them. That's what you need to do. Because your son and daughter is not going to apologize. But you need to reach out to them and apologize to them. And let them know that you know they're wrong, but there's nothing you can do. But at least you can apologize to them. Yeah. Because they're looking at you as a weak man, a weak pastor. That's how they're looking at you. Where your family takes over the church and run people out of the church. Good, faithful people, hard-working people, people that would do anything for you, people who will work long hours at an event or at a banquet or just whatever it may be. You got people who would just go to the wall for you, and you allow your little messy daughter and son run them out. That don't benefit nobody. And if you left the church like that, hallelujah, congratulations. I'm glad you're gone. Because I wouldn't stay either. I wouldn't stay there. I'd rather be in a hog pen walling in slop than to stay in a church where the daughter and the son has taken over and the pastor have no backbone to set his own family member down when he know that they are wrong. Well, thank God for my coworker, because she's right on. She hit the nail right on the head. And I sat there and I waddled in that today. And I say, you know what? I'm putting this out. I got to put this out there because she's right. I done seen it and I done heard it. So there it is tonight. May God bless you. May it keep you. It's my prayer. Continue to pray for my family, my wife. I love you. We love you. And most of all, God love you. But God is going to hold you accountable on how things have been ruined and ran in your church. You got to be in charge, Pastor. You got to have some wisdom. And you got to have a backbone to set someone down, even if it's your family, even if it's your daughter, even if it's your son, even if it's your wife. You got to have the guts and the gall and the backbone to set them down when they're wrong. You know why? Because you set everybody else down when they're wrong. So if a man make a mistake or he fall and he been in part of the ministry for a while, guess what you do? You set him down for months. He can't do nothing. He can't sing. He can't pray. He can't teach. He can't do nothing. You set him down. Okay? What good for the gander is good for the goose. You need to set your son and your daughter down when they are wrong. But nevertheless, you're not going to do it because it's too late. You're just a member now. And it makes me sad. It really does. The Bible says he will give you a pastor after his heart. And if you're a pastor after his heart, this stuff wouldn't be going on. But nevertheless, I love you anyway. May God bless you. Shout out to everyone who tuning in. I ask you to share this video. Yeah, let's get the word out. Listen, the days are finished. This world is coming to an end. And listen, you don't need to be set in any building somewhere, where you're gonna find out and you're gonna get to the pearly gates, and the Lord Himself gonna say, I never knew you. It's just that simple. And it's just that simple to correct it and get it right. But I love you tonight. Shout out to you, everyone who's joined me tonight. Share the video. And may God keep you. May He bless you. And if you are in a church about this topic tonight, before you leave, just go and ask your pastor. Talk to him about it. And you're going to see what I'm talking about. He's not going to do anything. And if he does correct that, then you stay with him. Because he's a solid person. But if he just blow it out, blow it to the side, get out of there. Yeah, just get out of it. But I love you. May God bless you. May He keep you is my prayer. In Jesus' name, amen.